Hey Cancer, welcome to your weekly forecast for February 28th through March 6th. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You may stumble upon this video after that time frame. That's fine, honeys. You guys are going to find it when you're meant to find it, when it's time to hear the messages. Keep in mind, this is a general reading for the collective. Not every single message will resonate. Take what does, leave what doesn't. So without further ado, my dear Cancer friends, let's see what we have going on for you all. One more shuffle here. All right. Let's get right on into it. All right, so the first card that is coming up here is the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords comes in with a few different messages. So we're going to go over them because you guys are going to have different scenarios and I don't want to leave anybody out. In a work situation, those of you who are currently in a situation where you're working, Seven of Swords can tell us that we need to be cautious because we may be dealing with people that feel very threatened by us or intimidated by us, and they may be doing something very sneaky. They may be trying to sabotage your work. So when I see Seven of Swords, and if it's a work situation, this tells me you need to document your work. You need to document your conversations. You need to double check your work. Okay. There was one time for me in a job where I had to organize binders for an attorney to take to court. And so the documents had to be in a specific order. And somebody was so sneaky. They got there before me the next morning, and the documents were in the right order, but every document, the pages were scrambled. And if I hadn't checked the pages of the documents, oh my God, I would have gotten fired that day. So there could be somebody doing really sneaky things like that. You know, you could have gone and looked at the binder and been like, okay, all the documents are here. But if you didn't check each page, you wouldn't have known that the pages are out of order, right? Could you imagine being in front of a judge and your pages are all out of order? So you might want to double check your work, and you might want to just make sure that everything is right before you turn it in, because if you leave your desk or you come back, somebody maybe might do something shady or messed up like that. Somebody might give you the wrong instructions. So if somebody tells you, okay, this is how you're supposed to do this assignment, or this is how you're supposed to do this job, go back later and send that person an email. Hey, thanks for showing me or training me, blah, 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 blah. So per our conversation, per your instructions, I'm going to do A, B, and C. And just send that email. They might not email you back. They might not even answer you. And you do it the way they told you to do it. Then your boss comes mad at you. Cancer, why did you do it this way? This is wrong. This is all messed up. And you're like, well, so-and-so told me to do it that way. And when that person says, oh, I would never, I know that's the wrong way. I would never do it that way. It's not my fault if you understood me incorrectly, but that's not what I told you to do. You could say, oh, well, that's funny. Okay, well, then how come when I emailed you, you didn't correct me? I told you what I heard, but you didn't correct me. How come? You can just go ahead and click print and print out that email, and, here it is. So this is what I mean by covering your tracks or having things documented, having things in writing. Document conversations that you have with coworkers, especially if it's something where they're giving you training or instructions how to do something, because you may be dealing with some sneaky ass people. I'm sorry to say. So I'm not saying it for you to be paranoid. I'm just saying it that some of you need to be prepared. Some of you are dealing with very competitive coworkers. Maybe they just feel really insecure and this is how they're trying to get by. And so just protect your work and have things in writing. Another way Seven of Swords can come up is that this is not the time for you to broadcast your plans and ideas to everybody. okay? Because they might discourage you and say that it's not a good idea, but they want to steal the idea and they want to beat you to it. And then you end up having your idea stolen. Or you're just dealing with people who are really negative and their thinking is very limited, and they're just going to discourage you and they're going to take away your hope or your optimism. So Seven of Swords can come up when it says that right now nobody really needs to know what we're up to. Nobody really needs to know our plans. I know it's a really big thing and it's really popular to speak things into existence, and there is a truth in that. I'm not saying that it's wrong to speak things into existence, but this might not be the time to like be going on your Facebook or Instagram and Snapchat and making these bold affirmations, or announcing these intentions to the world, even though you're doing it out of a state of like, well, I'm going to raise my vibration and I'm going to speak this into existence. Seven of Swords is telling us this is not the time to do it. There's too much negativity, there's too much interference, there's too much jealousy. Make your moves quietly and surprise everyone with your results. Make your moves quietly and surprise everyone with your accomplishments. People don't need to know. If you're doing something in terms of creativity and you're wanting to share it with people to get their ideas, might not be a good idea. You might deal with people who are going to steal your ideas. Okay? So this is a time to not, lay everything out. People don't need to know what you're up to when we're in the Seven of Swords energy. Step carefully, step quietly. Next card coming up here for you guys is the Knight of Cups. Now, I know a lot of people are used to watching tarot for love and romance. And so for that reason, our poor little Knight of Cups here, he gets typecast as somebody nobody wants to see. People see Knight of Cups and they think somebody who's a player, somebody who's a Don Juan, somebody who's fickle. And don't get me wrong, it can definitely mean that sometimes. Not every single time, sometimes. It depends on what the question is, what we're reading about, what the subject is, and it depends on the energy and the vibe that's coming in, and it depends on the other cards that are coming in around the card. So Knight of Cups is not going to mean a player or a Don Juan every single time. Sometimes, yes, not every time. That's the art of reading tarot. But those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I don't look at love and romance in the weekly forecast, because in the weekly forecast, I want to talk about you. I want to focus on you and your journey, and not so much on other people, and not so much on love life. I do the love readings separate on my channel, and I always have the love readings linked in the description of the weekly forecast. So by all means, watch the love readings. I'm not anti-love. But in the weekly forecast, I want it to be about you. So the Knight of Cups, when we're not talking about love and romance, the Knight of Cups is the pursuit of the things that makes the heart smile. It's the pursuit of adventure, inspiration, beauty, okay? The things that inspire us, that give us a zeal and a lust for living, a zeal and a lust for life. It's finding our bliss. So the Knight of Cups can indicate that some of you are longing to do something more creative. Some of you are maybe feeling inspired to do something more artistic or more playful, even if it's just as a hobby and not as a job. This could have a big impact on your healing, on your ascension, on your opening up to receive, on meeting new people that will be significant friendships or relationships for you in the future. But some of you may be feeling led or called to get involved in more creative energy or creative endeavors. The Knight of Cups also, for me, comes up in my readings a lot of the times when somebody is getting unblocked around receiving financially. Okay, one thing that I have seen through my own journey and seeing other people close to me going through their journey, it's very interesting, very interesting. And I experienced it myself. So um that's the only way that I can tell you that I know this. But it spirit showed me that this is connected to the Knight of Cups when I began reading cards. If you've been blocked financially for a long time, sometimes it happens because we're not in our body, we're not grounded. And so, how can I explain this? One of the first stages that you'll experience before you start receiving financially after a period of just, I'm going to say, destitution. Like, I'm talking about severe money problems. I'm not talking about, you know, uh, you get paid and then you pay all your bills and you're broke until the next paycheck. I'm talking about worse than that. Like, you can't even get a paycheck. I'm talking about holes in your shoes, couch surfing, broke. And maybe you've been in this phase for a long time. But one of the first things that happens when you start opening up to receive is your senses activate. It's the weirdest thing, and you start to see and notice beauty around you. It's like you're grounded, you're finally back in your body, so you're experiencing the world all over again. And as the heart chakra opens up to receive, you start taking in a lot of beauty, and you start seeing beauty in things that are otherwise very random. You start seeing beauty in, like, the way the traffic lights look on the bus ride home, little blades of grass that are growing out of the cracks in the sidewalk, and you just, oh wow, I never noticed how pretty the color blue was. I never noticed how pretty the color yellow was. Like, you just start to experience sights and smells and sounds differently. You just have an appreciation for them, and everything seems so much more beautiful and inspiring. And so, the Knight of Cups, this is the energy that I'm feeling for you guys. This is the way that I'm feeling Knight of Cups for Cancer. It's like you're all of a sudden seeing beauty all around you. You're all of a sudden appreciating this beauty. You're all of a sudden taking in sights and smells and sounds, and it's inspiring you. And it's happening because you're opening up to receive, specifically to receive abundance. Okay? So some of you are having this experience. The next card that's coming up here for Cancer is the Four of Wands. Now, again, I know a lot of people are used to watching tarot for love and romance, and people see the Four of Wands and they get excited and they're like, I'm getting married, it's the wedding card. And don't get me wrong, that can be the case for some of you, okay? As I said, I'm not focusing on love and romance in the weekly. And for those of you who don't want to hear about love and romance, we're going to talk about the Four of Wands here and what it means other than wedding in just a second. But I just want to say something real quick to the love folk. Some of you are manifesting marriage, but the Knight of Cups tells us that you're going to be coming into a period of time where you're going to be pursued. And some of these people, you're going to know you don't see a future with them, and you might be frustrated. And you might say, universe, angels, guides, hello, send me someone that I'm going to have a future with. I'm not interested in this riffraff. Sometimes you have a Knight of Cups period because the universe needs you to learn that you are worthy of being pursued. You are worthy of attention. You are worthy of compliments. You are worthy of receiving generosity from people without any obligation to do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. Somebody wants to take you out to a nice dinner. You have every right to accept and give that person a chance. But at the end of the dinner, if you're not interested, you're not obligated to make plans for another date or to go home with them or to invite them into your bed. You don't have to do that just because someone was generous with you. But you have the right to give somebody a chance, and you have the right to receive. That's not the same as leading somebody on. Leading somebody on would be like, well, I don't know if I'm interested in you, but if you took me out to that really fancy restaurant I've been wanting to try, and if you buy me steak and lobster and a $500 bottle of champagne, then I might be in the mood. And then this person goes and does all that and you don't deliver. That's messed up. That's wrong. That I'm not talking about leading somebody on, but you have every right to give somebody a chance without milking them and not feeling obligated to do anything you don't want to do at the end of it. And so some of you are manifesting marriage, but what you need to learn right now is that you deserve common decency. You deserve to be courted. You deserve to be wooed. You deserve that attention, and you're not obligated to do anything you're not comfortable with doing or that you don't want to do. So some of you have to learn that lesson. Now, outside of love and romance, we're not talking about weddings, we're not talking about love, we're not talking about marriage. Then outside of that, Four of Wands is stability and security. It's a happy home and it's stable and long-term abundance. Four of Wands is also having a community around you, a community of friends who celebrate with you, who are happy with you. It's a sense of feeling established, having a home and a sense of community with the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands can also sometimes mean like a reunion or a homecoming. So maybe some of you are having a chance to visit back home and you're all of a sudden realizing how much progress you've made in your life, how far you've come, and you're realizing that you haven't given yourself credit for how far you've come. Like you might be taking a trip home that's helping you to realize that. If you're already home, you might have somebody coming and visiting you. There might be a reunion with your grown children or relatives or friends, and you might get to reminisce about the old days and again realize how far you've come. But there could be a sense of getting together, a gathering, a reunion, a sense of homecoming, but a sense of feeling established, secure, and at home, a sense of feeling roots. Okay, so there's a sense of feeling at home or being at home here with this Four of Wands for some of you. So some of you might be going through sneaky people and sabotage and all kinds of things, but you're not letting it rob you of your joy, and you're remembering what matters at the end of the day, and you're focusing on your life outside of the competitiveness of career, outside of the sabotage, outside of that ickiness, and you're staying focused on really what matters. Your joy, your interests, your creativity, your sense of home, your sense of community, your sense of friends and family. And the career stuff is just like what's paying the bills. You're not going to take that home with you. You're not going to let that rob you of your happiness, but you're going to know how to maneuver it while you're there. And when you're not there, you're going to leave it there. You're not going to take it home with you. The next card coming up here for Cancer is the Six of Cups. This also came up for Gemini. Some of you could be dealing with a Gemini. It's so funny because now that I think of it, my father is a Cancer and I believe his sister is a Gemini. That's interesting. I have to double check on that though. I know my dad's a Cancer, but I have to double check on if his sister's a Gemini. I believe she is. So we have the Six of Cups here. Six of Cups came up for Gemini as well. So there could be like connecting with a Gemini. Not for all of you, but it could be because it came up for them. Okay, or maybe you have a Gemini placement, and so this is like a double message for you. But Six of Cups comes up in a couple of different ways. So Six of Cups can be that it's like a return to innocence, a return to purity, a return to connecting with the inner child, nostalgia, memories of the past. And for Gemini, this came up with a sense of like forgiveness and getting a clean slate. I don't necessarily feel a sense of like a clean slate or Cancer feeling like you need forgiveness, but I feel for Cancer it's more so like just memories and the good old days and like realizing the happy moments in your life and the things that you've done well and how far you've come. And I feel a strong sense of like inner child energy for the Six of Cups for Cancer. Now, sometimes Six of Cups comes up because we're thinking about the past better than it actually was, to the extent that we start beating ourselves up, or we feel like we made bad decisions or we ruined everything. So if that's the energy you're feeling, Cancer, if you find yourself in the coming week feeling like, oh, things were better in the past and I messed it up, then what you need to know is that sometimes we remember things better than they actually were. And if things really were so wonderful, if things really were so great, you wouldn't have made the decisions that you made. You didn't just one day wake up and randomly make decisions for no reason. You made the best decision that you could in that situation at that time, and at this moment, you're exactly where you're meant to be. There might be things that you would like to improve or change, and you can definitely do that, but you didn't take a wrong turn. And you need to remind yourself of that. Okay? So we want to avoid getting mentally stuck in the past, because that creates depression. You can be nostalgic about it, you can have positive memories, but come back to the future. I mean, not the future, the present. Come back to the present. Come back to the here and now. You don't want to get mentally stuck in the future, because that creates anxiety. You want to try to be in the present as much as you can be. Some of you are having memories from your childhood, and this might be inspiring you with your creativity and ideas or projects that you have that you might be taking on. Maybe some of you used to doodle or draw, and maybe you had like a little character that you invented in your head. And some of you are thinking, oh, I don't know why I'm hearing Mr. Bubbles. Oh, I remember Mr. Bubbles. It would be cool if Mr. Bubbles was a comic book, or it would be cool if Mr. Bubbles was a children's story. So you might be taking something from your childhood and putting it together and creating something with it and pitching it or putting it out there. This could be happening for some of you as well. You may want to check out your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks those might resonate more than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you click on the link in the description of the video, calendly.com/amethystangelite, it will take you to my scheduling page, and you can schedule a private reading with me there. Love videos for March are linked in the description of the video. Don't forget to check out the daily card of the day for those of you who want a daily message. I'm sorry if any of you are hearing weird noise in the background right now. My dog is talking in his sleep. He's growling and barking and making weird noises in his sleep. So that's what's going on here. If you're hearing it, I do apologize. Don't forget to check out the card of the day. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead, and hopefully I'll see you all in the comments in the daily card of the day messages as well. Be well, my dears. Take care.